Self-development. This is the last module in this course, but this is also probably the most important module because these points can help you across your personal, professional and academic pursuits. Let us start with self-assessment. This is a process where you look at yourself, your work, your successes, your failures, your regrets, and you identify your strengths and weaknesses. You develop your strengths further and you work towards overcoming your weaknesses. For example, many years ago, when I started working in a risk management team, I realized that my strengths were my attention to detail and my ability to work with people from different countries. I enjoyed the type of work and I knew that I could do really well by focusing on that type of projects. In other words, I could play to my strengths. On the other hand, I also realized that my basic Excel skills were not enough. There was a lot of data analysis to be done and I was struggling with the pivot tables, the charts and the macros. So that was my weakness. I enrolled in some Excel courses and I practiced till I learned all the essential features that were required for my work. Therefore, I plugged the gaps. Similarly, you should reflect on your personal and professional life and identify your plus points and minus points. For some people, English communication may be a weak spot. For others, self-confidence might be their weakness. Every time you notice a gap, write it down in a tracker and later on, you should make a plan on how to address this gap. Talking about self-assessment in the context of your internship, it is a continuous process. You should first assess yourself before you apply. If most firms are asking for relevant courses or most applications ask you for articles, papers or publications and you have not done much in that area, that is a gap. If most firms are asking for excellent written communication skills and English is your weak spot, you will identify it during your pre-internship assessment. These weaknesses may be the main reasons why you are not getting shortlisted. After you land your dream internship, your self-assessment will continue. You need to see what would help you become a better intern or a better professional. Is it computer skills? Is it research skills? Is it self-confidence? If you get any feedback during your internship, that will help you identify the gaps easily. Even otherwise, you will often realize the issues by yourself. Like I realized that learning advanced Excel skills would make me better at my job. So self-assessment during internship is important. The post-internship assessment is to look at the bigger picture. Identify how can you prepare yourself for your next internship or your next job. The smaller items like Excel, communication, etc. are covered during the self-assessment during the internship itself. The post-internship assessment should look at the bigger things such as what would be your career options. If your internship experience showed you that you do not like working with a law firm, should you look at academic options or corporate roles? Or if you realize that you are interested in a different practice area, should you apply to a different set of firms for your next internships? For the purpose of this module and to keep things simple, let us define self-assessment as the process of identifying missing skills, making a plan for acquiring those skills, and tracking the progress of that plan. To help you with your self-assessment, let us first understand what are the various categories and types of skills. The first category is essential skills, which are absolutely required for you to be able to work on your internship. The second category is personal and soft skills. These are qualitative skills that will help you succeed in anything that you undertake, be it an internship or a job. Next, we have interpersonal skills, which are the skills required for you to be able to work with your juniors, your peers, your seniors, and your clients. To put it in simple words, these are people skills. Then come professional skills. These are the skills required for you to succeed in the specific practice area or the specific field of law. Don't worry about this high-level explanation. We will look at each of these categories in detail. These skills are often used as evaluation parameters by the recruiters of some of the top firms for hiring interns and employees. For example, while hiring interns, Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas may give a lesser weightage to essential and professional skills, which can be taught easily, and a higher weightage to personal and interpersonal skills, which require a longer time to learn and practice. Whereas Fox Mandal may give a higher weightage to professional skills, so they may prefer interns with more experience. But before we look at the skills in each category, let me quickly remind you of the learning cycle process that you will have to follow to address the gaps in your profile. Once you do your assessment, you will realize that there are certain skills that you have to develop. Let us take legal research and writing skills as an example. You will start by setting a goal that you need to learn legal research and writing and write some articles and get them published. Next, you check for the various courses, books and videos that may be available on this topic and see how much time will it take for you to go through all of these. You will make a plan like from next week onwards, I will make myself free for 1 hour every day and I will go through all of this material and I will write 5 articles by the end of this month. You will then execute the plan. You will watch the videos, you will read the guides, and you will also write your first 5 articles. You will then submit these articles to various websites. If you have written original articles on any legal subjects, you can also send it to Lawment. We can give you feedback, and if we find it suitable, we will also publish it on our website. You can also get your friends and seniors to read your articles and collect different viewpoints. For example, the feedback may be like, your research is good, but you need to improve your English language, or someone might tell you that you need to use shorter sentences. You will reflect on all the feedback and think about what can be done to address any improvement areas that have been suggested. How many of them are within your control and how many of them will require external help. You will then adapt to the feedback and decide on the next steps. The use simple sentences is a feedback that you can immediately implement in anything that you write. So you will adapt your writing style on the basis of the new pattern. The improve your English language feedback may need external help and that will take more time. So that will be your new goal. And the learning cycle will continue. Let us now take a quick look at each of the 4 basic categories of skills that we discussed, starting with essential skills. These essential skills include verbal communication, written communication, and computer skills, mainly Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. The reason they are called essential skills is because you will need them just to do your job in any office these days. And as a legal professional, these skills are the basic tools of the trade. Communication skills can be taught to a certain extent, after which it is all about regular practice. Regular discussions, debates, model events, and moods are very useful for developing verbal communication skills. And writing articles, papers, and blogs is required to polish your writing skills. As we have already discussed, most of the top law firms look for participation in extracurriculars like debates and moods and ask for sample articles and papers to evaluate the internship applicants' communication skills. About computer skills, quite a few students feel that they already know how to use Word and Excel and there is nothing new for them to learn. But there are so many features in these applications that we never touch during our daily usage. But these features could save us a lot of time and effort when used in the office scenario. For example, using the headings and subheadings, Word can automatically create and update the index or the content pages. This feature is very useful when you are creating or editing long documents. Invest a little time and effort in checking out some good computer skill courses and you will always find them to be useful in the long run. Next come the personal skills and soft skills, which will help you become an effective person and an effective professional. Planning is the first step, then comes decision making, then come problem solving skills, and then the art of ownership, which includes the awareness of when to take ownership and when not to, and finally creativity, which is not about painting, singing or fine art, but about using creativity to solve problems and provide solutions. All of these personal and soft skills are attributes that can be taught to a certain extent, but you can become better at them only with regular practice. A good project management course will help you discover various tools and techniques that will help you with planning, decision making and problem solving. While ownership and creativity can be taught to a certain extent, putting the theory into practice is what will help you develop these 2 attributes. Then comes the interpersonal skills, which are the attributes you will need to work with people, be it your seniors, peers, juniors, clients, or other legal professionals. All top law firms give significant weightage to interpersonal skills like teamwork, leadership, delegation, and negotiation. The last 2, networking and emotional intelligence, are skills that will help you immensely in becoming a better legal professional, be it in private practice, in a big law firm, or in a corporate role. You can check out some of the courses that are available, including Lawment's courses, which will help you develop your leadership, delegation and negotiation skills, which are again very much required whether you are practicing as an advocate or you decide to pursue a corporate role. Finally, professional skills. These are somewhat specific to the type of firm and the area of practice. Subject matter expertise comes first, be it civil law, criminal law, corporate law, constitutional law or environmental law. A basic level of subject matter knowledge is preferred by all law firms so that they can get the intern to focus on the actual work rather than teaching him or her the basics. Next come skills like formal legal writing and drafting, research and summarization, and presentation skills. All these are very important when you are applying for internships, and you will notice that firms will evaluate and give preference to candidates who display these skills. The last one on this list is general awareness, which is helpful both for the firm and more so for you. If you are aware of the various developments in the legal world, the business world and technology, you will be able to identify and take advantage of potential opportunities. For example, the pioneers who were aware of the US legal processes, the availability of legal talent in India, and were able to understand internet technologies, developed the legal process outsourcing businesses in India. With this, we have completed the last module of this course. So let's move on to the post-module activities. The activities for this module will be to put a structured process in place for your ongoing self-development. As I have explained earlier, the self-evaluation and the self-development process need to be done by you before the internships, during the internships and after the internships. The first step is to create a self-assessment template, which is also a self-development tracker. You can use the sample tracker as a template and you can add more columns or details if required. Complete a critical self-assessment of your essential skills, personal and interpersonal skills and professional skills as of today. Be your own worst critic. Unless you have actually used a specific skill and found yourself to be proficient in it, mark it as a gap for now. For example, research skills. You may think you are good at it, but unless you have actually done some significant legal research, there is no evidence to prove that you are good at it. So mark it as a gap for now. Add all the various skills that we have discussed in this module in the skills column. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a beginner and 10 being an expert. Put the date on which you are doing the current review. For any skills where you rate yourself at a less than 7, create an action plan, such as do you need practice or do you need to attend a course or you need to read some books to learn the basics, and also put in details on how and where you can use that skill to get some practice after you have learned the basics. Set a realistic target date for completing the courses or the activities and ensure that you actually work towards meeting those targets. Use the progress field to make notes on what you have completed, what you have missed and what is getting delayed. 2 more points I would like to add here is do not delete any of the data in the tracker. Just keep adding to it. For example, if I see that my verbal skills are at a 5 during the first review, I enter the details, and during the second review after a couple of months when I have reached a 7, I add 7 after the previous 5 rating. I add the current date after the previous date, and I will add the progress details after the previous comments. That way I can track my progress and see how I have changed or evolved over a period of time. You should also look at this document at least once in a week. Put a reminder on your phone or your Gmail calendar to do just that. Just filling up the template and forgetting about it does not serve any purpose. Keep it on your desktop or on your phone, and don't forget any of the action items that you have created for yourself. With this, we have reached the end of this course. I hope you have taken notes for each of the modules and you will diligently complete all the post-module activities. I would strongly recommend that you should quickly go through all the modules once more so that all the learnings are reinforced, and anything that you have missed out in the first pass, you can fill in the gaps. And remember, whatever I have spoken about in this course will work only if you consciously put this into practice. I will conclude it with one of my favorite quotes: 10 hours of practice is better than 10 days of theory. Thank you, and I hope to see you again in another Lament course.